Mode 1. Booting up. The table lamp turns on around 4 am and it's not until 7 am that I actually head to the desk. I prefer to have the natural sunlight hit the working space since it helps with the eye strain. Mornings are by far my favorite and seeing the desk setup is a feast for my eyes. I head over to the desk, raise the seat to the preferred height. I'm using a Misura chair over here. I particularly like the curves on this one. I then take out this tote bag. It's a Harry Critz tote bag I found on Amazon. I really love this one for its exceptional quality and the price. I keep most of my analog accessories in this bag, namely a leather journal, pencil wrap, and a Blackwing pencil sharpener. And I like to keep everything back in its place. I'm using a moving trolley to store all the miscellaneous accessories, and this helps to keep my desk clean. On any given day, I prefer to have these analog items with me. After taking each item from the tote bag, I proceed with going through one by one. I unwrap the pencil wrap. This holds a few collection of my favorite pens and pencils, each one holding a memory to a significant part of my life. I take immense pleasure in these minute actions. It reminds me to slow down. Among the list of my daily analog accessories, I have a Blackwing pencil sharpener, an aluminum scale, a Parker pen, and a normal HB pencil. I also keep this TFX Sosma 900 lumen torch handy. Now, this leather journal is the most important material possession I own. It contains all my schedules, codes, plans, memories, trackers. In short, it keeps me grounded when things get overwhelming. I particularly like having the calendar in the journal. It gives me a visual representation at a moment's notice of what lays ahead and what has been. Up next, I update my to-do list that I keep on a piece of paper on the mobile stand at all times. Now I'm aware there are better analog accessories out there, but when possible, I prefer to use the simpler alternatives, since they get the job done just as much if not better. I like to keep it on the table at all times since the visual cue helps to bring me back to focus while working. I like this small essential oil diffuser that I stole. I borrowed from my parents. It's a simple idea actually, but the vanilla essence sure does lift my mood. Mode 2. Work. Once I'm done booting up and keeping everything in its designated place, it's time to get on with work. I place this portable laptop stand and then the M1 MacBook Pro 16-inch. Now before you say anything, it's not mine. It's on lease from the company. I prefer to keep a notebook for all my projects and work doesn't make any exception. I prefer to raise the table to a standing height as it helps to get over any remaining slumber from my sleep. Now the most difficult part of work used to be getting started, but this Pomodoro timer has been a lifesaver. Although more expensive than what I thought it would be, still by far the most important purchase I made when it comes to work. Now to be honest, once I'm deep into work, I don't necessarily care for the desk setup at all. That said, I can pretty much get my job done with just the laptop, the internet, and a plug point. And that's exactly where I started 3 to 4 years back. But I very much like the desk setup. The fact that it took me years to consolidate and refine it to this point. There is something really gratifying about being able to write down the action items, as it sometimes helps to backtrack down in the future. Now it's during the occasional breaks that I tend to take. I read my Kindle, step back and admire the desk setup that took me years to build. Now sometimes I like to play something in the background on my iPad. The one purchase that I made way back in my university that actually got me a job. Now that's a long story. Very often I just keep my creative playlist open in the background. It's also important to stay hydrated, and I prefer to buy one-off purchases that's gonna last me a few years. This saves me money down the road. Under normal scenarios, having just the MacBook screen helps me to focus and get the job done faster. Mode 3. Create. 9 to 11 hours into the day, once I'm done with work, I bring down the table, replace the work laptop and notebook with my personal ones. I'm currently running Asus ROG G14 that I still haven't paid off. I use this time to script or work on my other creative projects, like this video you're seeing right now. The portrait sketchbook is by far the most ambitious project that took me an year to see through to completion, and I'm really happy with this one. If I'm not sketching, I like to use this time to work on final drafts, scripts, schedules on my MX series. This one here is the MX mechanical mini keyboard, my first ever mechanical keyboard. I like the color grade, the aesthetics, and the build quality on this one. Now, typing on a mechanical keyboard is truly a different experience, where you get the tactile feedback on each buttons. Switching from Logitech K380 to this one has really uplifted my whole typing experience. And then I have the MX Master 3, a solid mouse that helped me with my wrist pain. I like to work on these peripherals, the whole aesthetics these pair puts out there, using this time to make updates on Notion, including but not limited to project files, trackers, and archives. And when I edit the videos, I use this Blue Yeti mic to record the voiceovers. I used to use the inbuilt microphone on my iPhone 7 earlier. Now for the screen, I use a 34-inch LG ultrawide monitor. I'm not going to dive into the technicality. There's a minor glitch with the HDMI cable as well. But it has done me fair so far, and I like to do the editings on this one. I love this wallpaper. It was shot by my friend Subhash at the Grand Canyons. Mode 4 Entertainment. At the end of the day, if I still got some time to play around, I like to play a few game titles. Sometimes I take out my Nintendo Switch, play a few titles, namely Zelda. Now for long gaming sessions, I darken out the room, boot up my G14, switch to the ultra-wide, taking out my controller. I'm using the Xbox controller and I play a few titles. I like playing these open-ended games where there's a lot to explore. I loved making this video, especially knowing that it took me years to see this dream come true. None of the products are sponsored and I paid for every single one. And I still am paying off the EMIs on a few of them. But we all have one or two dreams that we dreamed of for years. And this is one such bucket list item for me. Nevertheless, I'll leave a link to all the products that I can trace back down in the description. And these are not affiliate links, which means I don't make any money whether you use the link to make the purchase or not. To be honest, I don't need this extravagant setup to get my work done. Just the laptop, the internet, and a PowerPoint would do. And that's where I started from 3 years back. But it was fun to see it reach this point. I truly enjoyed this one. Hope you guys did as well. Thank you.